What's up, everybody? Dramatic entrance.
You know me. Happy what day is today? Happy Monday? Happy Monday. I'm
Best
not
day of
gonna
the
lie.
week.
I'm feeling kind of just not bandana. What are these things? Hair tie. That's what I'm feeling. Feeling a hair tie day. So everyone, happy Monday. Per usual. Hey, if you're new to the Skool community, this is your first call, let me know in the chat. I'd love to say hello. And if you're not new, I could say hi to you too. But if you are not new and you see somebody who's new, say what up. Let them know that they're in the right spot. Give them some love. Because many of you slash us have been there on day one and been like, where am I? We're not in Kansas anymore. You're clicking your shoes. You're not going home. And you're like, I just have to face the monkeys of being afraid to fail, but being ashamed of being afraid to fail. All right. So with that being said, we are let's kick this puppy off. So this Skool games, the agenda per standard will be a quick review of the leaderboard, and then announcements from Curb Dog, and then we will go to A's and Q's, which you guys can drop into the Q&A box via Zoom. Ahora, which Jason knows is French for now. All right, so let's do it. And you're like, it's not French. It's all good. All right, so we've got a strong lead with John Frazier with YouTube Magnates at 58,000. Very strong start. We're 8 days in. Big pop, very akin to the Anime Shreds launch of June, or was it June? Was it June? No, that was May. Yeah, that was May. So this is a good leaderboard if you want to get in. 2 ago we had one of the biggest ends. You can see here from the leaderboards. June after that, a little bit more conservative getting in. And so it's kind of one of those like hit or miss. Like April was big, March was smaller. March was the smallest one. And then obviously February was a strong start too. And so it's kind of hit or miss on how the competition shakes out, which is all good. So that's the leaderboard. And so let us curb any new announcements on the technological front.
Only announcement is shout out to Bijan, who says in the chat he made his first one-time course purchase sale, but that's it from me.
Oh, nice. And yeah, we're seeing on the back end, the one-time purchases are continuing to increase, and I think that will only proliferate in the coming days. All right, so cool. Let's dive in. Let's rock and roll. All right, let's get to, by the way, if you like a question, then it's like getting upvoted on Reddit. So the most liked questions, I'll answer them in that order, because believe it or not, when you have the same business and you're at the same stage, many of you have the same question, which is great because then these become more valuable. All right, so I'm trying to be better at business intelligence. Great term. I used to use that internally at Gym Lunch, by the way, was the business intelligence dashboard. In your LTV to COGS to CAC, LTV minus COGS. Okay, so lifetime gross profit equation. As part of CAC, do you include all overhead costs? No. So cost of goods sold is the direct costs of delivering whatever it is you sell. So it's the incremental cost of an additional unit. And so if I have to have a facility that costs me $5,000 a month all in, and then making every additional unit cost me a penny, and I can sell them for $1, my cost of goods sold is not $5,000, it's a penny per unit. And so whether I sell 1 unit or 1,000 units. Now, over time, if you get more complex in manufacturing, which no one here is, that can shrink over time and you can blend it and you can get all sorts of fancy accounting. But for everyone here, I like to delineate LTGP versus lifetime value because lifetime value is thrown around very loosely in the SaaS world. And that's because most SaaS products, software as a service or software products, tend to be virtually 100% of lifetime revenue is gross profit. And so they basically just equate the two because it's really similar. But when you get into service delivery on top of that, which many of you guys add in some level of service or calls or whatever, then there are costs that you incur to deliver your service, even at a one-to-many delivery. Now, it might be more efficient, but you still have some ratio of people I pay to people I sell. And we just want to make sure that's included in there. And the bigger that cost is, especially with the more done for you services, which some of you guys sell on Skool, the more important it is to calculate that ratio off of gross profit and not off of gross revenue. Okay, great. Okay, in equations, no. Okay, CAC is just the incremental cost. Sorry, gross profit is the incremental cost of what's left over. Price, cost, the difference here, that's gross profit times however many times they buy. That's that. CAC is all of the costs blended together that it costs you to acquire a customer. Now, the difference here is that to acquire a customer, you will have marketing team, you will have sales team, you will have media buying that will all get factored into acquiring a customer. And so you just simply take all of those costs put together and you divide it by the number of customers you have, and that's your CAC. And I suggest doing it over the longer the time horizon you do it over, the more blended and more accurate it will be for your business. And when you do LTV to CAC that way, it will always overstate CAC and understate LTV, which is a safe padding because hypothetically, hypothetically, you haven't gotten all of the LTV of all your customers. And so you're just going to be making a hypothetical there versus the actual on CAC. Okay, not to get too heady on that.
Listen, if you host or own a Skool community yourself and wish there was a faster, easier, and more reliable way of getting more people to know about your group, then listen up, because now there is. In fact, this video is sponsored by a real Skool community called the YouTube JV Portal, where the #1 focus is to get more eyeballs on your Skool communities. This channel you're watching right now has partnered with the YouTube JV Portal, so if you're a Skool community owner and you want a sponsored slot just like this to promote your group on all of our upcoming content here on SkoolStories, then click the second link in the description and book a call today. And now, back to the video.
All right. Jose. Hi, Alex. Hello, Jose. I'm building a community for first-time homebuyers. Sweet. The mission is to help millennials aged 27 to 35 making between $1,500K take home first step towards building sustainable wealth. Okay. I'm not a homeowner myself. That is a big red flag, but started the process of getting my real estate license the same day I started the community. I have a master's in asset management. I have nearly a decade experience in finance industry. Okay. Before I get into the second half of this, dude, if you're going to teach people how to buy a house and make that like the main thing, like buy a fucking house as fast as possible. And honestly, the big advantage you have is explain why you decided to do this and why you think it's a good decision, and document all the different houses you look at and why you don't buy them. And so if you look at 100 houses, show all the houses you look at that you don't buy. And I think I would say this is me, if you give them a frame of, listen, there's 2 reasons you can buy a house. You can buy a house because it satisfies an emotional need that you want to have, which is fine. But if that's the case, fuck investment. ROI. Just don't worry about it. If you want to buy the best possible investment home, then make investing ROI the main thing. Where people get into trouble, and this is me just telling you right now, which you'll probably say in your community, is when you try and do both. Because what you'll end up with is a house you don't really like with an investment that's kind of shit. You just kind of have like 2 mediocre things. You're just not that happy about the house. You're not that happy with the investment. All right. Now, I will give you a personal anecdote, which you guys didn't ask for, but you will get regardless, which is I have done really well on all my primary residences. And the ones that I've gotten really greedy on in investments have been the ones that I've lost money. And so I think that there's a bigger lesson there, which is like, if you buy stuff that you just think is exceptional, there's always going to be somebody else who wants to pay top dollar for something exceptional. And so I tend to buy trophy assets for myself. And there are always people who want to buy trophy assets. So I'll throw that out there. All right. Building a quick and simple Ford checklist course people can use as a guide. Okay, cool. I'm having self-doubt because I've never invested in a home myself. Okay. And the people I told the community told me real estate agents do what I do for free. So why would people charge for my service? Okay. So what you can talk about is the fundamental misalignment of incentives of a real estate agent and buyers and sellers. So the incentive, there's a whole, I mean, dude, my God, right now, Capitalize, they just passed a law that just sued the top biggest 4 publicly traded brokerages for not being transparent about commissions. So like, go cite that and use that as like, there's huge case law that suggests that this is, and also the US is the only place that does this. And so you can say like, the rest of the world doesn't operate this way. Look, the top 4 firms just got sued. Like this, there's a major thing coming. And what I want to provide is transparency, kind of like a fiduciary of like, you pay me $50, guys, or I don't know whatever you're charging. You guys are going to pay. You don't know this because you're just being silly pants. But if you're a seller, you're paying 6% of your house. And if you're a buyer, that's going to be factored in. So let me show you how to buy a house even around realtors if you want to, or you can use me and I have a different fee structure, which could be advantageous. All right. So that's my TLDR. All right. Now, also as a side note, you could just make the community free and then just benefit from the fact that you get big rips on the commissions, which might not be a bad idea. All right. So like if I were you, let me just tell you if I were you, everybody, if you have an alternative strategy for monetization that is more efficient and more tied to the outcome, like a commission on a sale, right? Or a purchase, right? What you can do is go build a community of buyers, explain to them all the stuff for free, and then guess who they will go to go negotiate the stuff on their behalf, you. So if you want to do the fiduciary angle, I would say all the stuff I said earlier. If you don't want to take the fiduciary angle, then I would just do what I said, which is just provide a shitload of value, make it free, and then they're going to all come to you to sell their houses or buy their house, and all buyers become sellers eventually. Okay, great. Good talk.
This clip was taken inside of the Skool Games, which is literally free to join. So if you want to talk to AlexHormozi live every week, then click the link in the description and join right now.
54.1% of people who start a paid community in Skool make money. Yes, you heard that right.